Welcome to another episode of An Inside Job, War and Addiction. This is show 57, and it's the second half hour with Eddie. We try to do two when we come down. I was talking to my wife the other day, and she said, well, how far are you going to go? How many can you do with these? And the answer is, I don't know. But to be able to get that many people in, and Eddie just said his wife would come down and do a show, and that's great. So that's that. Sometimes, not often, I think, I've been sober 37 years. And I talk about recovery, and everybody knows I'm sober that I hang around with. And I wonder if some say, well, what's he still going to meetings for after 37 years? But my answer to that is, it's not broke, right? It's not broke. It's working. I'm here doing this. I have a lot of many sober people in my life. It's my social life, and now with the show, because I'm retired, I feel like I'm really contributing to this thing. And I wanted to tell you before, but Bernie Sanders was on yesterday, and he was talking about alcoholism and the drug addiction thing. And you never hear that. You never hear that. AOC mentioned it once, but it's not news. We're dying at 200 a day. And
That's true.
It isn't news. It's not bleeding, yeah.
It is sad, and I if there's one thing that I can communicate to people that are still out there, there's hope, and there are places to go. Like I said, when my mother was in the program, and I was still, the only thing I knew it had something to do with God, because she put the Serenity Prayer on the wall. For me, as with a lot of people, I've rejected the church,
right?
The organized religion.
Right.
It seems somewhat political and a power thing of some kind. And then I've gotten into the Eastern philosophies, and which works for me. I don't. Now I can kind of compare and contrast the Bible with the Bhagavad Gita and the each. I like to do that. I would say there's something. I read a lot of, or not a lot, but Carl Jung, who had a lot to do with writing the Big Book, has mentioned his name more than once in there.
I must have heard that before, but I don't remember it. So
and Carl Jung was well versed in the Eastern philosophies. He was one of Freud's students. In fact, the preface to the I Ching is Carl Jung, but it mentions Dr. Jung in the Big Book. But he talks. It's a letter to Bill Wilson that you can find it online. And I should have brought it with me. But what it talks about is spiritus. It's the same word in Latin, alcohol and God. Spiritus.
Really?
So when we give up the alcohol, we're trying to fill this void. We need to fill that void with something. And that's where we need to find a higher power. They mention sponsorship a lot, which is good.
You may want to just explain sponsorship.
Okay, so sponsorship is finding, when you first come in, you find someone to help you go through the steps and stuff that has done it before, because it's, I would say, maybe if you're going to take a walk through the woods or something, and it's full of briars and stuff or something, to have someone that's already been there a bunch of times to help you get through is kind of what sponsorship is. I would say personally, don't use your sponsor as your higher power, because people can let you down. We're all human, but just find someone who, I think it's more important to have people you can call and you can talk to. If you do feel like you may want to drink, and to call them before you pick up, because it is a life and death situation for us. To find somewhat, and I emphasize to find some higher power that you can rely on. It doesn't have to be a church or anything like that. Just another thing that Carl Jung said, and he actually regretted it right after he said it. They asked him, did he believe? He said, well, I don't have to believe because I know. And he said he regretted that because people didn't think he believed in a higher power.
Oh, yeah.
But so, but anyway, for me, I just it's still a day at a time. I was starting after the first episode. I was starting to get into some of the benefits I have reaped. No, I'm not wealthy or anything, but I do have a car and a house that I own.
And a business.
And a business. My trade of choice is playing music. I own a music store. I teach and play for a living. But none of that, when I was drinking, like I say, it was hard to even pull it together to keep an apartment. I had moved back in with my parents. I had one acoustic guitar, and it was just to even hold on to that, was a struggle, because I was spending all my money on drugs and alcohol. I could sit, around people's house and talk about all these things I was going to do, but nothing ever really happened. Being sober, things really, they get better and better and better, and then they still get even better, way beyond your wildest dreams. I was told that if I thought my life would be beyond my wildest dreams, that I was selling myself way too short, which is true. I just got back from Shanghai. I was traveling to for a music trade show. I used it kind of as an excuse, but to be able to do that through
Right.
clear and sober eyes, I've been, actually I had a job for a short time in southern France, which is like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I worked in near Nice in Cannes, That's things that sobriety does for me. So I never had thought I would end up in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. I didn't even know the place existed. But it's worked out really good. I like the sense of community of the smaller town. I lived in Boston, which is where I met my wife. We stayed there for probably 10 years total, from the time I was at Berkeley till we moved out this way. It's, I think Fitchburg gets a bad rap, but I think there is some, I think people that are in recovery need to be out there and to offer help to people who are still struggling. If anyone is out there using or drinking, there's a place to go. I was just talking to somebody a couple of days ago, and I was talking to Ron about it. There's a new recovery center right in Claiborne on Fairmont Street, which is open every day. You can go in there. You can use computers and stuff. They have meetings there. They have workshops. They have yoga there. All kinds of classes. And I've been talking to them about doing some open mics and open jam sessions for drug-free, alcohol-free. Because some of us still like to play, and I do play in bars from time to time, but it's not my favorite thing to do. I mean.
Yeah.
it's like, if I try to tell them, well, I would have drank this much. You should just pay me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Ethan Stone, as we had talked, he's not a member of the fellowship. And don't ever mention it to him. Whoa.
No, I know Ethan. Me and Ethan were at Berkeley together, actually.
Oh.
And I knew him when he was still using, but he still comes in the store. I know him.
Oh, yeah. But he said when he was up playing out in the bars, he said it was his job to keep people drinking.
It is.
Until he saw some stuff that happened with, accidents and cheating on the wife, and he said no more, and he hasn't. But it's been quite a few years. Yeah. Some things came to mind as we were talking. One is I just want to go back a little, and this is geared toward AA or NA. It's the fellowship. It's what got us sober. It's what got all of us that come on the show sober. I've been trying to get people to come in, not that they aren't sober, but just coming in. But I want to say that you do not have to have a higher power. I believe that there is no way to avoid some type of spirituality when coming in, because you're getting better and maybe you're looking, but
Yeah.
And I would emphasize that too. Because a lot of people, it scares them away. They
Right.
do the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. They mention God, and there's the second step, right? We're already talking about God.
Right.
So
right. That God will get me sober.
But I think it takes a while. They say you come, then you come to, then you come to believe. Don't let that scare you. And there are other ways that people stay sober. It's not the only way. There's been other offshoots from time to time.
Right.
But I think AA and NA has gotten more people sober than any other program.
I agree. Without a doubt.
Yep. And so give it a chance. I mean, because it is a life and death situation. For me, I'm so glad that I found a program. And really, I go to meetings and I don't have to agree with everything I hear there. That's because I don't most of the time. We were just talking.
Right.
Some meetings we were just incredibly bored, or I'll be thinking, about this person. They shouldn't be talking about that.
Right. And then a lot of egos coming in, and
yeah, I mean, we're all human, and then I think maybe if you keep working on this stuff, I don't think anyone has completely done away with egotism. I guess if we did, we would be sitting on a mountain in a white robe or something. I don't know. But
I'm willing to give it a try.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the Indian masters talk about that ego deflation, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, we just do the best we can today. I try hard not to lie or steal and all that stuff, and I do pray. I pray for my sobriety and my sanity. I can go crazy, even stone cold sober, I still have these character defects. Looking back, I think I had all the isms before I drank, and I've heard other people say.
Explain that, please.
Okay, so I was one of 4 kids, close in age. This is a good example. For example, Easter, our parents would give us these big chocolate Easter bunnies.
Yeah.
All mine's gone in one sitting.
Yeah.
My older brother would savor his.
Right.
me, I knew where he kept it. I would be swiping off of his, my sister's. So that was before I ever thought about drinking. Chocolate was a drug or sugar or whatever.
Right.
And this, the obsessive compulsive behavior, I think probably some people just like to party a lot and they seem to be able to quit and they don't seem to. I think we have, how does it mention that a physical, so we have a physical reaction that's different than most people.
Right.
If I pick up one drink, it sets off this craving that I don't stop until I pass out or until it's all gone. And then, it's just, so the alcohol doesn't do it, so I'll, drink and then go see the Coke man. And it's just, there's not enough.
One is too many.
And 1,000 not enough. That's it. Yeah, I think NA mentions that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the steps, were designed. And like I see, there's not the only way. I just, I think it's worked for more than any other program, like we said. So the main thing that I had to learn, I just had to want to not drink more than I wanted to drink. Because I can rationalize a lot of things in my head,
Right.
why it's okay, why I need it.
Right. I think we'd agree, and a lot of people in the program would agree that you can't do it alone. And
No.
I never, when I got sober, I never had to look back, but so many of us will have to go out and try it again, and some just keep batting their heads against the wall.
And a lot of them die, too.
Oh, yeah.
I've had too many friends that decided to go back out there and didn't make it back.
Right.
Or they, and that's the sad part,
That's a reason for this show. It's been going on 4 seasons, but all the opiate, because girl I was sitting next to last week, she's dead.
It's sad, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's...
I'm just...
It's pretty common in Fitchburg, too. They found someone on a roof not too long ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't even know if they were using, but probably, most likely, And the fact that... I guess that it's so much of it around, but it's really not a new thing. There were people doing morphine after World War I, right? They were,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Forever in the West.
Yeah.
In the West, just forever. But I think it's, society. This stuff just keeps compounding with the mother being the addict or the father or the husband. Mm-hmm. You see, Dr. Mattei says, whether it's right or wrong, and I believe it, that your environment he believes that it's your environment growing up, and that it goes so deep. He doesn't say this, but I understand it for myself. We don't even know what kind of damage that's done. That's just my opinion.
That's true, yeah, and I think, if you work on it, and it is a daily thing.
You talked about abandonment.
Yes.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did study some psychology for my education master's, so I know a lot of those. Most people disagree with Freud, but some of his stuff was pretty much on. But Carl Jung, it's Jung, which mentions in the big book 3 or 4 times. He was one of Freud's students, so I do read a lot of that stuff.
Still?
From time to time, yeah. I mean, I'm not a big reader. I just so I'll read stuff that I can have bits and pieces, or find quotes and stuff. I don't really sit down and read novels or anything like that, But like if I'm on a plane or something, I'll read,
because that was a long trip to China.
Yeah, Shanghai. Yeah, that was pretty incredible. They do have meetings over there.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
American meetings. I didn't make it over there to the meetings, but it is a communist country, so you kind of. I don't think they have a lot of problems. Every once in a while, you'll see some people laying on the street, drinking, like outside the temples or something. But it doesn't seem to be a big problem. I don't know if it's because they pick them up and throw them in jail, or what it is. I did learn later that there's cameras everywhere that people won't even jaywalk because they, yeah. And I was wondering why does everyone behave so well? There's like
Yeah.
But such an incredible experience, and all the experiences that I have, it's only because of my sobriety. Really, the only thing I could comprehend when I was drinking and using was, where am I going to get more? That was my that was my main concern, or what was I going to do if I ran out? I mean, if it was.
Right.
If it's going to be bad weather, well, we got to stock up. I mean, it's like, so to be free from that, and I don't know, do we have, like, if someone was watching and they wanted a place to go, well, there's several meetings a day at the Unitarian Church here in Leominster, and there's a hotline they can call, right?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I don't know.
Yeah, the Unitarian Church in Leominster, where Ron's wife was a minister for years, right?
Right.
The Stone Church is what I call it.
17 meetings a week.
Yeah, so there's generally somebody around there. In the Fitchburg area, you can always come by my store, Eddy's Music, and if you need music equipment or lessons, stop by there. But there are people we can call. There's meetings every day in Fitchburg, and then this new recovery center is open every day. It's on Fairmont Street in Fitchburg.
I went to one of them in Worcester.
Uh-huh.
It's run by Spectrum.
Yes.
And it's just what they needed.
Absolutely.
Mean, it used to be the Mac Center down here. Mm-hmm. A lot of meetings. It was a halfway house, and you could, just go in there and hang out.
We had that in Greensboro where I got sober. They had a Unity Club, and a lot of the West Coast you see a lot of the Alana's clubs, but in Greensboro we had the Unity Club, where there's 4 or 5 meetings a day there, But then there's a side room where the old timers are usually in there playing cards or checkers or whatever. Yeah. So there's always somebody to talk to. You could go in and watch TV or whatever. So it gave me a safe haven to hang out. For me that was really important. And this time of year for new people who are new in the program, there's alcathons, we call them. There's one
Thanksgiving.
Yep. So they usually have meetings, which there'll be meetings all day, from generally starting early in the morning till usually go till midnight or so.
And Christmas is 2 days.
Christmas, they go all night, right?
All night, yeah.
Yeah. So there are places to go, because for a lot of us, those were triggers. Whether it's your family or for me, it was, having time off work. I drank every day, but I would maybe get super drunk if I had a few days off or something, or end up at someone's house.
Andy calls it the trifecta. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, the trifecta.
Yeah, and I think we do need to be on our toes, but to enjoy these. I like to do things hopefully to help people. I help them with the meals down in Fitchburg. We deliver.
With the what?
We do meals, and we take them to people.
Good.
Mostly take them to people who are in assisted living. But if there's people who want meals, they can get them. They cook them there, and we can. This year they're cooking them at the Rollstone Church, the church beside CVS. Is that Rollstone? No, whatever it is, the one beside CVS, whatever church that is.
I can't remember who CVS is.
Across from the train station.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a big church there.
Oh, I don't. I'd have to think hard, and I do not like to think.
Yeah.
I try to avoid it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
You know, speaking about the trifecta, you know, when I came in here, I had more baggage than a Barnum and Bailey circus. You know, I had caused you know, I still just don't want to look at it because I just came in with nothing in the program, with nothing. So Thanksgiving, yeah, all right. Christmas, you know, I'm not with my kids, and one addict told me, said that, yeah, I went over their house on Christmas. I stole his PlayStation. You know, that's what you know, that's the kind of stuff, especially addicts. Yeah. So it takes people out.
It does, yeah.
The trigger. But most of that time, I'll say this, my opinion, they aren't paying attention.
That's true.
And they have to learn the hard way for some. And like you said before, and for me, 99% of the time that I've witnessed people go out, start using or drinking again, it's because they slowed down or got away from meetings. I mean, this works for us, for you and I. It works. And so, you know, we're still at the meetings. We don't want to break it. We got probably 2 or 3 minutes. Is it easier? Nah, that's cliche. What keeps you sober?
Well, not drinking for one thing.
Yeah.
There's the metaphor about the camel. Do you ever read that? Sometimes they use that as a symbol. What it is with a camel, it's an AA symbol of some kind. So he can go for 24 hours without a drink or longer.
Yeah.
And a camel, when he lays down, he gets on his knees before he lays down, and he does when he gets up as well. So, so I need to make this connection with a God of my understanding throughout the day. Because it's like that thing when everything is going wrong, I have to backtrack.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're so fortunate that we can head down to a meeting when that, or call somebody. You know, I got so many friends that I can call rather than being at home by myself with that stuff running around. That's it. We're done.
And it is. And it's not like I just have to call up. You know, it's a lot of the friends I have. Like, for example, I think it was Sunday. I had something to do to my car. I have a friend in the program that does a lot with cars. So we go over there, we work on it.
We gotta wrap it up, man.
Yeah, we get it fixed. But same with I had another friend in North Carolina. I said, "Well, come over, we'll shoot some pool." But it's really we're talking the program. We're not, you know.
Right.
And it's
Right.
that's
Centered around AA.
that's kind of how it works
yeah.
for me. Most of my good friends are in the program.
Yeah. Okay, we went a little over there. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you very much. This went smooth as silk, and I hope to have you back.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it, and really, if there's anyone who was, on the fence, thinks they might have a problem, check out some meetings. Call one of us. Call someone, because it's your life can get a lot better. Thanks.
Thank you. That's another wrap.